Okay, today is a big day. Birds are chirping, sun is shining, snow is melting. You see a little skiff, maybe, in the trail here. It snowed yesterday about 2-3 inches, but most of that melted before the day was up. And we were going to do this big task yesterday, but the weather kind of kept us from doing it. Well, we decided we didn't want to do it in the nasty weather. It was snowing and blowing. So today we're going to hook up the spring line. That's always a momentous occasion for us, and it means doing laundry easily, filling the house tanks with water easily. It's exciting. I think we're going to get it today. I'm going to go down to the boathouse, grab our hip waders. The snow is probably knee deep at this point. Zach is opting for rubber boots with snow pants.
You're probably cutting off my head.
I got a wide angle.
Oh, cool. Yeah, I don't trust my hip waders, and I think that no matter what we wear, it's going to be like hot and sweaty. So, got some gym shorts and then snow pants. And the only thing I'm hoping for is that, like, my feet stay dry, I guess.
I think we'll stay dry. I lied. I didn't have it in wide angle. Now I do.
And a t-shirt. That's all I'm doing.
Let's go. All right, you get the knife, screwdriver, fittings. I'll go get my hip waders, and we'll convene back here.
Sounds good. All right. So we always keep the hardware in here. Let's see. Ah, look at this little shenanigan of a shop. Okay, well, I don't see it right off the bat. Gotta find where our hardware bag is, and I will show you what it looks like. Okay, I found it. It is right there. That's why I couldn't see it right off the bat. I don't know how it ended up in here. It's probably more red than it is blue, but in here is pipe clamp, fittings, screwdriver, razor knife, and you've seen in previous videos, if you followed us for any length of time, we need these if there's ever a split or a bear bite or a porcupine bite and there's a leak in the line and we got to splice new pieces together. So this is the sweet fanny pack we always bring with us when we head up the spring line.
All right, so part of this rock walkway is visible, which is very cool. We just love when the snow starts melting. There's the timber and the lumber for the walkway that we're going to build. And that leads me right here to the boathouse. Let's see, yeah. Hip waders, all back in there. I gotta find the ones that are in my size and head back up. All right, so hip waders, for anybody that doesn't know, this is your typical mud boot. I did do a review video on these a couple weeks ago. That's your regular mud boot, garden boot, rain boot, whatever you want to call it. This is a hip wader. It essentially comes up to your hip, all rubber. There's kind of a trick to put these things on because there's a little thing right about at the calf height that keeps you from being able to pull it on very easily. So you get it on a little ways, and then you fold that sucker down like that. Then you can pull it on like a regular mud boot. All right, so that's about it. Don't want to bore you with any more hip wader talk.
We're walking really softly, trying to step not heel to toe or toe down because I can feel it right here, watch. It's just easy to sink. There's a little crust because it got below freezing last night. So if I walk really smart, I can stay on top about 90% of the time. So we got the first week of May here, and we still got quite a snowscape out there. But then you get a little hole of natural hot springs where the water is probably a balmy 38 or 39 degrees, creating quite a divot there, if you can see the contour. And then Joe is at one of our big loops of pipe. We're gonna get that all spread out and hooked up. Okay, go ahead. What I'm trying to do here is just make sure that as Joe takes all the pipe he needs, that I'm preventing kinks in this black pipe. It kinks really easy, and sometimes it's a little inevitable that you're going to have a kink, but I'm just trying my best to prevent as much as possible. Okay, that will head down the hill. Now Joe is at our sediment filter, that big old trough where water comes in the top and then settles, and then up a few inches we'll start shooting down toward us.
Some local wildlife up here. So I've got the hose stretched out from Zach down there up to the trough, and then we will take this section of hose here and run it right up there to the spring, the actual spring. Here he comes. We had to take a little break here. Zach and I were messing around with a ptarmigan, a male ptarmigan. It is their breeding season, and Zach's got his phone on the Merlin app, and he was playing ptarmigan sounds, and it was really pissing this guy off. So he was flying back and forth trying to figure out what other male ptarmigan was in the area. Quite funny. All right, back to task at hand. We have run the line from the trough up to the spring here, and we have our first filter in the spring there. I've got a couple rocks weighting it down, because even though it's full of water, it always wants to raise just a little bit. So the rocks weight that down, and the line runs down here. I will tuck it down in the snow a little better, and then we come up once the snow is all melted, and then kind of replace the line where it should go. So I'm going to work my way back to the trough and then try to get the siphon going here.
This is always one of my favorite parts, just watching Joe suck air through this pipe and try and siphon water down the hill. Looks like he might be successful on his first try. Maybe? Is it coming? Looks promising. It's really nice and clean. Everything looks good so far.
Super cold.
Yeah, I bet.
Next stage of the journey, we have the hose running from the spring to the trough, and we just hooked up the hose to the trough, and we are running it along. Zach is unrolling the next roll of hose. We'll get it to the coil of hose that we have that is just before the hail down, and that all is buried under the snow. We winterize that. So the hope is that there's no frozen sections in there. We dumped some RV antifreeze down there. We'll get all this hooked up and see if it runs down the hill.
So we've talked in the last couple of videos about the snow melt it being a little earlier this year. It seems like it's a little sooner than average. We'd have to go through some of our records. Joe's kept pretty good records of every year we hook up the spring line on what day. I think last year was like May 13th. This year we're a week ahead of that, which is great, but the snow is so rotten. This is the hardest it's ever been for me to unwrap this big coil of pipe, and I just figured it's a little embarrassing because I look ridiculous, but I figured I'd get it on video anyway. So here's my method this year. This is new for me.
Now I know I've shown this before, but you can see how much the stove ash that we sprinkle down really helps us out. There's still 2 to 2.5 feet of snow all throughout this meadow, and that pole is where we had a coil of hose, and it's down to the bare ground. Now I'm at the end of the section that we've got coming from the holding tank. Zach has got his camera set up down there vlogging, and I'm vlogging right here, so we might get some crossover audio. I've got to suck on this and get a siphon going once again. I don't like this part. Hard on my lungs. It's one thing to like blow up a balloon, blow air into, you know, a kiddie pool or a raft or something like that. But to pull air, it's a different exercise that most people are probably not used to. All right, came right back. So this is awesome. I was just grabbing the end of this hose where Zach is taking it down that way because it started to slide and get away from me, and I didn't want to have to chase after it. So I set down that hose, and as you can see, it just started flowing out of there. So I guess to quote a hilarious movie, it's your basic hydraulics RV if you've never seen it. Robin Williams, great movie. The trough, the holding tank up there is filling up. As it's filling up, so the reason I was thinking I would have to siphon it is coming out of the holding tank, the hose rises a little bit, and then it starts to fall down. So the holding tank must have filled up enough to be above that high point level. Either that, or it just caused enough pressure, and yeah, the water started flowing without me even having to do anything. I love it. Let's go. Look how clear that water is.
I've got the pipe run from the first junction down toward the section of pipe that we leave buried under the snow. Right here is a really bad kink that happened when Joe and I were winterizing it last year. So we're gonna cut. Now there's some tape here, which is a weak spot anyway. So we'll probably cut out the tape here to here and just splice that together with one of those fittings I was talking about. So let's get down here to the end and see. Is it hooked? Is it hooked up yet? All right, Joe says water's flowing. Ugh, sunk again. Oh, I can hear it. Here it comes. Cool. It's all downhill from here. That's the section of pipe that's buried. And you can see the lodge from here. So we are almost done. Joe's got the pipe cut. Gonna cut out the bad spot. Okay, he's shoving in the fitting. Okay, he's shoving in the fitting.
Ooh, that's a rusty one.
All right, let's track down Piper and work our way downhill.
These are the 2 coils of hose that go across the meadow. We were successful in winterizing our downhill part of the hose because as soon as we hooked it up at the top of the hill, by the time Zach and I made it down to the bottom, the snow was a lot softer and we were post-holing the entire way. It was very strenuous. By the time we got down, water was already running. So that's a huge 2 thumbs up. And we'll get these things uncoiled, stretched across the meadow, and hooked up, and we'll have water in the backyard. All right, guys, from way up on the mountain, up in there, you can see our trail coming down. That was the bottom of the hill where we had the line buried. We drug hose across the meadow. The stick right there is the junction in the backyard that brings it to that water spigot right where Zach's at, which he is vlogging right now. And it comes underground and comes all the way to this water spigot, which is our main water spigot. There we go. Running water for the spring of 2024. Let's go. There you go.
All right, we are here with Chloe working on a nice sunny day project. What are we making, kid?
Swallow houses. We made one. It's got a
Can you turn it sideways and model it off? There we go. Cool. We got a lot of swallows showing up. We want to make sure that they feel comfortable and want to stick around and eat tons of mosquitoes. So we're trying to attract even more. And Chloe loves to help in the shop. So we're rocking and rolling. We just made all the cuts for birdhouse number 2. Now we gotta look for a place to hang them up. Good job, kid. We have plenty of plywood scraps left over after tearing all the roofs off of the cabins.
stapler.
So we're like, what do we do with all this? Got plenty of ideas now. Use a couple sheets of plywood on birdhouses.
Got the Patriot House.
The Patriot House, red, white, and blue. This is previously painted on. We sanded it down to get rid of some marks, and it started exposing some different colors. So we're gonna have Chloe climb when Joe is done putting up the screws. Chloe, you want to do the honors and hang them one at a time? All right. And look where the hole is on the back of the birdhouse, and then it should be pretty easy to line up there.
Should be able to look through the bird hole. Line it up with the screw. Couldn't get up a little higher. You're good. I got the ladder. It ain't going anywhere.
I don't know if
There you go.
hanging.
Cool.
Here you go. Here's the other one.
Did you put the other one?
Right there. There's another screw right there.
Cool. Hopefully we get a couple new neighbors. All right, stay up there a second. I'll take a picture of you. All right, after hanging the birdhouses, we're back in the shop. We're gonna go into Joe's paint booth here. And all right, so I built this little 3-sided box to be able to spray paint the cabin doors outside. And it's a little breezy today, and all that happened was it created a draw to where all of my spray paint was going straight up. And so we've had to resort to start a fire in the shop and hope that this works. And I need to get a face mask on because that stinks. Alright, keep up the good work.
Bramante Brothers.